Friend, there is a road to more calm confidence that is completely different from what you have been experiencing in mainstream information. And we are excited to give that to you. That is going to more quickly and easily get you to feeling like that patient, calm, and powerfully able to lead the family parent that you always wanted to be. Now we want to find out who is here, who is joining us right now. And so please, let's start out by sharing your kids' ages. If you want to share names, but you don't have to, but just your kids' ages and where you are joining us from. Where is everyone joining us from? Put it into the comments because this is a very interactive session where we want to be able to really be talking with you along the way. And even if you're watching this in the replay, please make sure to interact with us because we're giving out 3 coffee cards from Starbucks each session. It'll be announced afterwards during the next session to people who interact either live or in the replay. So please make sure and let us know you're here. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Tulika. Wonderful to see you guys. Seattle and the Bay Area. Love that. Nicole, I used to live in the Bay Area, and Tulika, you know, my sister-in-law in Seattle. So really fun to connect with you all. Can't wait to see who else is here. Katie in Portland. Love it. So friends, couple little housekeeping things to think about. One, there is a workbook to help you to just be able to take notes. And if you don't have that yet, please put a comment workbook and we'll either get that right to you from my mentor assistant, or if it somehow has a glitch, we'll make sure to get it to you in Messenger. Secondly, please know that we've been trying to connect with you individually in Messenger and email. So if you haven't seen those messages yet from us, it's probably because you need to accept our friend request in Facebook, or that in your email, you might need to check your spam box to see if those messages have been going there and note them as not being spam, and you'll start to hear more directly from us. Thirdly, I want you to know that this workshop is really a place that I am ready to fully show up for you. So if you are like, I just kind of want to get a couple light tips to, get some ideas, then you do not need to do the homework. But if you are showing up here and really ready for some change in your family because you're tired of not enjoying your family time, you're tired of how exhausted you feel at the end of the night with not much to give to your relationship or your friendships, you're tired of being in a space where you are just regularly frustrated and feeling like the norm in the fam is more chaos and not calm, then dig in with me. I am here to show up for you. And during this workshop, you get as much from me as you put into it. So be commenting here in Messenger, and please connect with us, or be commenting in the video here, but feel free to reach out to us in Messenger and email. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. And I really want to get you on that path to sustainable parenting, where you feel like each day you are enjoying your time and you feel that calm and confidence, and you're seeing the cooperation from your kids. Hi, Shannon. Always great to see you. Love seeing you all. So please connect with one another too, by the way. This is not just a me to you. One of my favorite things that we do at Sustainable Parenting is connect parents to each other. So if someone comments during today and you can relate to them, or you have a connection, like their comment or leave a reply so that we can be connecting and supporting each other. Because one of the big things we need in parenting is to know that we're not alone. Friend, it's an honor to be here with you. I do want to say before I launch into our wonderful content today that this is one of my favorite places to be, because I am guessing there are 3 key things that are true about you, and I'm honored to be here because of that. I'm honored to be here because I am guessing that you are someone who cares deeply and passionately about children, and that what brings you here is that you care so much. Is that right? Would you put a yes or an emoji if that is true? And I love that. I often have school directors, counselors. I've had pediatricians. I've had just amazing single moms, multiple moms come to this workshop because they care so much. Yes, Lauren, Odd, Katie, Jenica, so glad that you're here. And I'm honored to be in the presence of people who care so much about children, because I do too. As a counselor for the last 15 years and parenting coach for 12 years here in Bozeman, Montana. Before that, I worked in schools for emotionally disturbed kids. I've been a camp counselor. I've been a babysitter, a nanny. I have loved kids since the start. And the second thing that I'm going to guess is true about you that might be something we have in common is that parenting has turned out to be a lot harder than you thought it would be. Because for me, I'm going to tell you one of my most embarrassing stories here in just a minute. But here I had all this background in working with kids, but then my kid did not fit the mold. And all these things that I had read in the books were somehow so much harder with my own kid. And even though I knew it up here, the intimate relationship of having a child that's your own, like be so resistant or emotional or defiant, like push my buttons in a way I had not anticipated would ever happen. So are you also here because parenting has ended up to be harder than you ever anticipated it was going to be? Nicole says, oh, yes, absolutely. You are not alone. I'm so glad you're here. Tulika, yes. So friends, let me now ask you this. I bet the third thing that's true about you is that you are an action-oriented person who was attracted to this workshop, knowing that today's topic was about parenting smarter, not harder, because you are not someone who wants to waste time. You are not someone who wants to just keep bouncing around and having it not work. You're the type of person that's like, just give me what to do that's going to be more effective. I will do it. I just am feeling lost in this world of this sea of information, and I don't have time to lose anymore. I don't want to lose the time with my kids, or if you're a busy working parent, I don't want to be losing the, time and money. I want things to be as efficient and effective as possible. Is that true about you? I see it. Nicole, Katie, Jenica, all the way. You ladies are in the right place. I'm so honored and so glad that you are here. That's 1,000% what we're about here. So let's dive in. I want to start by telling you that most embarrassing story with Caleb. I mean, I can picture it like I'm standing in that space again. I have a 3-year-old. I'm excited to take him to his first swim lesson. I get him ready because I know that new things are a bit hard for him, but I'm like, I'll amp this up. It's going to be so fun. You like water. Now you're going to learn to swim. This is going to be amazing. And don't get me wrong, we had done a couple other things of working on skills ourselves. So we show up to the edge of the pool for this lesson. And it's a place here in town in Bozeman that's a square where all the kids line up on the edges of the square of the pool. And the parents are generally just watching, sitting or standing behind them. And so I knew my son was having a bit of he is a slower to warm up kid. So I had my swimsuit on. I got in with him, got him warmed up to the pool. Like, this is going great. It's going to be great. I was like hoping for the best, expecting the best. And then the teacher showed up. The other kids showed up. I'm like, okay, Caleb, you're going to do great. See you afterwards. And I start to try to leave. And it's like he's suddenly this animal clinging to me, clawing to me like a possum who's just fallen out of a tree. And he is screaming in my ear and he's crying. And I'm, first of all, just like shocked and surprised. You know how that happens, right? Like these things come out of nowhere. You're like, I thought everything was fine. And all of a sudden he's screaming, whether it's that you cut the sandwich wrong or that you are leaving in a space where you thought they were going to be okay for you to walk away for a sec. It hits out of nowhere and I'm just surprised And then I bounce between sort of trying to comfort him, like, it's okay, you're going to be all right. This is fun. Like, look at everyone else is doing it. It's going to be fine. I'm explaining to him why he'll like it and how it'll be so fun to be able to swim after this. And then like, that's not making it better. So then after 5-10 minutes go by, I start to get into like monster mom mode of like, get it together. I'm just going to leave you and you're going to have to be fine with it. And I'm just going to go. And this is so not okay. Why can't you be like all these other kids? They seem to be doing fine. Then I like feel terrible about that. And he's still crying. So I bounce back over to like, okay, let me see if I can coddle you and explain and comfort you and somehow just like get the right words to calm you down. And none of it makes the situation better. The entire 45-minute class I spent battling back and forth and so upset by the end of it. Have you been there? 0 to 10%. Give me a number of like how much you can relate to that story. And maybe it's with a toddler, maybe it's with an older kid, and it hasn't quite been that, but it's more power struggles that they just battle you and they want their way. And no matter what you try to do to talk them off the ledge of their demands, you stay stuck in the chaos. Yes, Nicole, Tulika, Katie, Lauren, I see you. You've been there. And I bet like me, you've thought, I don't know why this is so hard. Why is this been so hard? Why can't this feel easier? And so let me tell you what has likely been the source of the challenge continuing on and not getting better. Because friend, I was in this place, I was making these 3 key mistakes that I'm going to give you right now without even realizing it. And it kept me in cycles of struggle where I was like, what is wrong with my kid? What is wrong with me? I started to just think there must be something wrong with us, that life wasn't getting better. But when I identified these 3 key errors I'm going to give you right now, things magically got easier and better and lighter. Like I unlocked the key to understanding how our lives could be so much simpler and more calm. Are you ready for those 3 things? Who wants these 3 things in their lives? Yeah, Nicole wants it. She's ready. She said, we had to leave my niece's softball game early because my youngest couldn't get it together. Oh, honey, been there. Yes, Jenica, it's like you just want peace. Katie said this happened just this morning at daycare drop off. Tulika, yes, is ready for the things to be better. Says Nicole. And please, I love that you guys are liking and connecting to each other's comments. If someone's sharing something you can relate to, give them a heart emoji, give them a reply of, girl, I've been there. Yes. Here are the 3 errors, friends, that we're going to help you at Sustainable Parenting to completely change. It's really doable. You can be like the mom, Karen, who came into our program having these constant battles with her daughter and then left with her being able to name her emotions and calm down even in a social setting at a friend's party, unlike the previous 45-minute tantrum they had experienced around friends. You can be like Dawn, who said, I thought I wasn't even cut out for parenting because of all the battles that were always going in circles. And by the end of working with Flora, I finally see myself as like, I can totally do this. And I actually like my kids. I didn't realize that we could have such a better relationship. Or like Sean, who has a dad who got into this with his wife and really dove in as a couple, said, it felt so good to finally be on the same page and seeing progress with our kids, where instead of that Halloween where we just were so frustrated chasing our kid down and trying to deal with chaos, that we now have regular cooperation and teamwork, and the kids listen. So here's the 3 key errors, friends. First is parenting from the neck up. The second is parenting like a pinball. And the third is parenting asking the wrong questions. parenting from the neck up, pinball parenting, and asking the wrong questions. Let's unpack this, friend. Parenting from the neck up is that you and me are often very intelligent parents who are thinking that reasoning is going to be what changes our child's behavior. This is you, if you find yourself saying, I tell him all the time how he needs to behave differently. I explained why it's not okay to do this behavior. I'm telling him to calm down and it still just never seems to do anything. I am telling him the possible consequences that will happen to him every time we get in these battles, but he doesn't even care. If any of those sound like you're stuck in parenting from the neck up, friend. And it's not your fault. It's like, of course we do, because we think that's how I reason and problem solve with adults, right? And it's like, yes, of course. But when we're with our kids, especially those that are strong-willed or highly emotional, which, by the way, I have one of each of those. My daughter is very strong-willed and my son is very highly emotional, sensitive, slow to warm up. Then we can just think that reasoning is going to be what's the gateway to change, and it's not, friend. Think about this. They are little aliens that just landed on this planet like 3 years ago, 7 years ago. There are so many lagging skills they don't have in their bodies, and there are raging feelings that they've never had before that we can help walk them through how to calm them down. And that's going to actually help way more than just idle threats and reasoning and telling. So in sustainable parenting, we are going to help you to stop that parenting from the neck up that hasn't been working. Please write the word neck up if you're like, oh, that is totally me. I parent from the neck up and I get frustrated and I hadn't thought of it that way. That, of course, just reasoning and explaining things when they're in an emotional place is not going to change the dial. Katie's there. Jenica, yep, on. Second key error. The second key error is that we pinball parent. We don't have a plan for when it goes south. Too much advice out there has just given us only the tools for the gentle, supportive, validating side. And when the kids don't listen or they're intentionally defiant or angry or aggressive, we're like, whoa, the gentle parenting model out there, a lot of the advice is not equipping me but for that. And I just I'm trying to be gentle and listen and validate. It's not working. They're hitting me or screaming at me or biting me. So then I freak out and or they're just clingy or they're not listening or they're continuing to say it has to be their way. So I end up in monster mom mode, like, just stop. And I get to this yelling or more this taking things away. And then I feel bad and it's not even something I can consistently have be a consequence. And then I get back over to the overly gentle side and round, pinballing back and forth I go. Have you been in that cycle, friend? Because you have only been really feeling like your tools are overly gentle and not giving you the backbone of kind and firm tools so that the kids actually are respectful and listening. Yes, that's us. That's Jenica. And you're frustrated because you're like, well, I want to be gentle though. I want to be validating and emotionally connected. Friend, we can get you there. Our genius here at Sustainable Parenting is kindness and firmness at the same time. You don't have to bounce between gentle, and then monster, and then back to gentle. We will give you those tools you've been missing of kind and firm at the same time. And the third error that really often happens for folks is asking the wrong questions. And that's typically that you're asking, why are you being so difficult? Why did you hit her? Why did you just run away from me? Why are you making this so hard? Why do you have to keep pushing me to get that popsicle? Can you just let it go? Why? Can you write the word why if you're like, yes, if I think of I find myself saying that to my kid often, like, why are you doing this? And they never have an answer. Blank stare. Doesn't lead things to get better. Yes. Thank you. Jenica. Katie. Yes. And the reason this isn't working is we're putting the power into a child's hands, like a 3-year-old, 7-year-old. We're expecting them to be able to move the dial and understand their behavior when they can't. But let me tell you, friend, we can equip you so you can, so you understand developmentally what's really going on for them. And part of this is that it's their job to test rules and boundaries to see what happens when they do. And they're looking for us to be able to know how to answer, how to help them to have the right skills built up that they're missing, and how to be able to make a plan. So this is tomorrow. I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to give you the right question to be asking. And friend, here's what I want you to pause on for just a second. If you think about how much time you've spent trying to put out the fire with ineffective tools of neck up, pinballing, or asking why and never getting anywhere, how many hours a week do you think have been wasted in those errors without even realizing it, using tools that were just never going to get anywhere, but you didn't realize that it wasn't your fault? It's just that those tools that are very commonly our first knee-jerk reaction are not effective. How much time has been wasted without knowing that that was an error? How much time a week? Give me a number. How many hours? Lauren says too many. Here is the beauty, friend. I want you to know that number, and I want you to think it and hold it and look right now. Close your eyes and think, oh my gosh, what would I have energy to do if I had that many hours back in my week? If I knew how to spend my time more on prevention and not on ineffectively putting out the fire in those wasted ways, I could have 5 extra hours to either maybe spend with my partner, to just be more present and enjoying my kid. If we could give you the tools so that they were just listening and cooperating, and you weren't wasting any of those hours on the ineffective ways, what would you love to be doing? I think of Tanya, who, when she had more effective tools, said, I accepted a higher role in my job because when things didn't feel so chaotic at home, I was able to step up and take on more responsibility at work. I think of Rebecca, who said, when we finally started having better cooperation, we planned more camping trips for the summer because we finally had one go really well. And it made me know we can actually do more of this. Or Amy and Ellen, who went on a bigger vacation. They're like, I finally feel like it's worth spending the money to go to Disney because it's not going to be wasted on a bunch of battles and sadness and fights. Or Lauren, who said, as a single mom, I finally feel like I now, with my energy in the right place, am not so looking forward to my kid going back to his dad's. I'm actually sad when he leaves because our time together is so much more precious and fun. Katie says, I could really enjoy the time I actually have with my kids. Yes. Jenica, does anyone else become exhausted after the battles that you can't do the next thing? Exactly, Jenica. Then you feel like you don't want to do the next thing that you were going to do that was fun together. So let's reorient that so you're not having those battles. Tomorrow, we're talking about giving you the secret to less anger. And let me give you an insider tip. It's about having more cooperation from the kids and how to effectively do that, because we're going to feel more calm and not losing our bleep when our kids are actually listening and we're able to de-escalate problems. So come tomorrow to learn the secret to less anger and more cooperation. And then come Wednesday, because we're going to be giving you the key question to end your daily battles. Friend, we're so honored to have you. We can't wait to give you more. Join us again tomorrow, same time. Talk soon.